In a world where consumer behavior is in constant flux, modern marketers must wear many hats. And my next guest on today's episode of Leaders in Focus does so with great aplomb. Nishant Nayyar is the VP and Head of Marketing at Kaya Limited, and he brings to bear his knowledge as a journalist, as somebody who's handled brand strategy and digital marketing generation to try and drive growth at Kaya Limited. So join me in conversation as we talk about the tech-fueled trajectory of beauty and skincare in India in our next episode of Leaders in Focus. Hello and welcome to another episode of Leaders in Focus. With me today is Nishant Nayyar, who's the Vice President and Head of Marketing at Kaya Limited. Nishant, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And I've heard a lot about these series. I'm very, very grateful that I've been also invited to be on this panel. So it's a good opportunity and looking forward to interacting with you.
Let's get the ball rolling then. So my first thing I want to touch upon was about tech and personalization. We've seen so much of it in the whole beauty space. How have you seen the manner in which consumers engage with skincare and beauty brands evolve over the past few years?
So I think that this industry has evolved a lot in the past couple of years, and especially because there's been a lot of knowledge sharing through social media, and there has been a lot of curiosity with the Gen Zs, millennials, and everyone talking about healthcare and beauty space in general, right? So one of the things that I think consumers now expect is a self-diagnosis versus something that's kind of told to them, right? So they want to start the journeys with self-diagnosis or prognosis, as we call it. They want to start from there. Then they want to look at a lot of personalization, which literally implies that it has to be custom made for somebody, looking at their history, understanding their lifestyle and everything, and then building a custom made sort of solution for them. And I think also what has happened is that consumers also expect that there should be transparency with what they're being told versus what they're being offered versus what they're being charged as well, right? So I think these three things have been a very big sort of a shift in this industry. Also, according to a consumer study done by McKinsey, 71% of consumers, they want to stick to a brand that is giving them more transparency. 80% of them also want to buy from 100%. Them if it's personalized. 100%. So I think it's a very, very interesting time to be in this industry in India specifically, because as you know that our economy is booming. Also our middle income groups are also shifting real fast, and disposable incomes are also going multifold. So I think these are the couple of big shifts that has been happening in the industry. How Kaya has been able to kind of shapeshift into this is that we've launched a personalized AI skin analysis tool, which is called Clear AI.
Yeah.
It's been launched specifically for the Indian skin type, right? So there are many skin analyzers across the globe, also in the country as well. But what we've done is the language model that we've kind of chosen is specifically made on about a couple of thousands of Indian skin photographs, right? So these are our customers giving the real most optimum sort of solution to an Indian skin type.
Got it.
So that's one of the big things that we've done, and it's called Clear AI. It's also available on our website. But what we do is our doctors majorly use it and kind of show before and after sort of environment to the customers, and then they kind of make the decisions whether they want to use that service versus use that product.
Okay. So turning our lens a little bit from the past towards the future, you touched upon AI-driven tools as well. There's a growing love, a growing affinity for clean beauty. What kind of trends do you then see impacting skincare and beauty in the coming, say, 3 to 5 years?
So, as I said, right, transparency becomes a very big thing. Plus, also the onus on being sustainable is something that's kind of driving a lot of, again, shape. It's one of the shape shifters in the industry now. In fact, very recently, we just got an award for one of the products that's being displayed here, and that was for a sustainable product development, right? So our packaging was awarded, and it was done by one of the platforms from NID and Foundation of Innovative Sustainability Product Development.
Right.
And I think that's something that also becomes a deciding factor for a lot of younger generation. And while it is being harped on by younger generation, I think the older classes and the older age groups are also taking a note out of it, because at the end of the day, you want to be you want to make an impact to the environment that you live
100%.
in. So I think brands that kind of stand out from being sustainable versus non-sustainable, using ingredients that are natural versus non-natural, I think they will definitely enjoy the bandwagon of being favorable over other brands, if I would have to say.
Yeah. that whole move towards mindfulness is one that's definitely been very, very, obvious, very, very visible.
Yeah.
But talking a little bit about you, Nishant, your own career has been very fascinating one, because you've pivoted from the media side towards the brand side of things. How do you draw from those experiences and use those to channel brand growth here at Kaya?
I think working in these industries has really helped me in putting or for kind of becoming a formidable force in storytelling, right? I think at the end of the day, customers or consumers, they want to also go to a brand that has a sustainable storyline.
Yeah.
The brand that has a purpose. And all of this is done through narrative building across. So while I worked as a journalist or when I worked in the PR industry, I got a sense of how to kind of navigate through this, which also sometimes, delves into a lot of sentiment analysis of things and also perception building, right? While it could deviate from, say, a negative publicity or a positive publicity, but it's also kind of helps you to navigate the mindset of the consumer, right? And a lot, since today there are a lot of brands, the market really is cluttered. What really stands out is a brand that has a true sense of purpose, right? And I think this background of mine has helped me to kind of put the brand's perspective to the consumers in that lens. And I think it's definitely been one of the strong suits that I've had, and it's helped me a lot to kind of carve a niche for the brands that I work for.
You touched upon the importance of transparency, and that's a very valid point. When it comes to today's market, which is so much more driven by emotional factors than just rational factors, by trust, by authenticity, by transparency, by sustainability, what advice would you give to brand marketers looking to carve their path in this evolving landscape?
So I think the biggest thing for brand managers or say marketing managers today is that you need to humanize the brand, right? While a lot of people do chase KPIs, including me, but it actually really depends on how can you mobilize the brand, how can you also make it humanized at the same time, how is it reaching to the last mile to the consumer, not only in the tier 1s but even to tier 4s. If your brand has to kind of talk and also walk that road, that is where it will create an impact. So one of the biggest things is how do you humanize it, make the brand more palpable, make the brand more approachable, make the brand more into a dialogue forum rather than just a one-way conversation streak, which usually a lot of brands do that. Okay, XYZ, this is what we do, this is what we are. But when consumers reach out to you, there's no communication. So it has to be, the brands need to have a two-way communication now. That's part one. Second is, I think we live in times, which are driven by data. And I think while a lot of times people, kind of just make their way through data, I think there is a lot more than meets the eye for every data set, right? So you need to dig deeper, understand more, and try to look at the patterns, right? And it's always not necessary that you go after, say, the first 1,000 customers, for that matter.
Okay.
Why don't you start small? Take the first one, make them your hero, make them your ambassador, turn them into positive stories. They impact the next 5, then the 5 impact the next 50, and the story kind of continues, right? So use data to your advantage. You'll find a lot more rational also in the buying behaviors that consumers put, rather than just taking out feedbacks from them on plain Jane simple feedback forms, right? Third would definitely be that show transparency in the brand, right? I mean, yes, brands need to kind of go back and also serve the larger purpose of a corporate, but you need to be transparent with all your consumers. Try to tell them the real story. If things have gone wrong, own it. That's okay.
Have to.
And I think the moment you kind of accept the moment of truth also for a consumer, that's when the consumer gets, he starts galvanizing towards you, starts gravitating towards you, starts coming towards you and believes in you much more. Eventually, price sensitivity is one thing that kind of cuts all consumer behaviors. I firmly believe, right? Because it's the easiest way or an easier hack for anyone to kind of attract a lot more customers than they're attracting right now. Slash your prices by 50%, somebody will get 1,000K in one day. Slash the price by another 70%, people will get 200K. But is that sustainable? I don't think so. So you have to find those sustainable models by kind of, making the best use of data, humanizing the brand, and also being transparent.
So one question, Nishant, that I ask all of my guests before I round off the conversation is, looking back, was there any piece of advice you received as a professional that stood you in great stead, that perhaps changed the arc of your career, your professional trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, early on when I started, now I have about 16 years of experience. When I started, just fresh out of college, I would say, very naive. I was, somebody who had the sort of persona of know it all and the mindset of knowing it all. But I think at right times, my mentors, my bosses kind of pinned me down to the wall. They told me that you're not the hero that you think you are. You might look like one, but you aren't. And I think those kind of things really help me, because now when I am on the other side of the fence of not starting the career but being in a mandate of heading a team, I understand what mistakes easily somebody can make. So I think at right time, understanding the gravity of the function is what matters, right? So it could be anything. It could be the PR function or the ad function or the CRM function or the ORM function. But the point is that people need to kind of really dig deep into it and not kind of just, mask your way through it or wing your way through it. Okay, this is my function, I'll probably do this bit, these are my KPIs, I'm getting great, that's good enough. If you really want to kind of create an impact, you have to impact other functions as well. So I think that's one solid piece of advice that I got from one of my mentors, that it's just not your function within the marketing team. It's also about how your function can pivot towards other functions of the sub functions of the marketing team and how they impact everyone else, which eventually kind of drives business growth. So I think that was one of the best anecdotes that I got from one of my mentors.
Perfect. Nishant, it was lovely chatting with you. Thank you so much for being with us on this episode of Leaders
Thank
in
you so
Focus.
much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
As we dive headlong into a future of the beauty and skincare market, which is digitally defined and which is hyper-personalized, it's very important to keep sight of the message, which is to blend data with intuition and to never lose sight of the story that your brand is telling. I hope that you found today's episode of Leaders in Focus with Nishant Nayyar of Kaya to be wonderfully insightful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.